Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Excited to talk with all of you about one of my favorite subjects, which is marketing and helping small businesses, and especially small businesses in the aesthetic space, to grow, but not just to grow in a nature that is really reflective of you and your business and your passion, and helping you to find the customers and the clients that really reflect that passion. I am the director of marketing with Lexli Skincare, which some of you are familiar with. Tanya, I know you're playing with Lexli products. I am also a marketing communications consultant and have more than 20 years in the industry working with companies that were very, very big and companies that were smaller. And I really have found that my favorite place is right here with businesses that are the size of yours, that are small and mid-size and growing or wanting to grow really quickly. We are going to take this conversation way back to the beginning of marketing. We aren't going to talk right away about tactics, and there's a reason for that. We already did introductions, and so I'm going to skip this slide and dig right in if you're all comfortable. All right. I want to start with this quote because this quote, I feel, just perfectly summarizes where we're going today. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. If you guys consider the aesthetic space and people who do what you do, if you just talk about the services that you offer in each of your markets, I'm sure that there are a lot of people who are offering aesthetic services. And so this discussion today is about how do you stand out from them in a way that is really authentic. And the questions that we're going to spend time going over today are really these three. Consider why you started your business. And when you started your business, what was your grand vision? The ultimate vision for what you wanted your business to become. If you are being honest with yourself, you shouldn't have achieved it, because this vision for our company should always be changing. It should always be evolving. But once you really land on what that general sweet spot is that you're aiming for, you can build your roadmap, and we work backward from there. So have that in mind as we're talking today. I talked about how competitive the aesthetic space is, and so I want you to think about what makes you unique from other estheticians, other businesses like yours in your market. And that is going to be important because it helps us to hone in on your positioning. And then finally, consider that if the type of clientele you have today, if you just had a lot more of them, would you be able to achieve that grand vision for your business? In a lot of cases, we have to rethink who we are targeting with our marketing efforts, to really zone in on those people who we can build our business on. So let's start with your target audience. How many of you, just raise your hands, how many of you are working with clients every day? So you're all very hands-on in your business. Perfect. And when you're talking with them, I'm sure a lot of these topics come up. They may not be sharing their household income, but they're telling you about their family. They're telling you about their hobbies. They're telling you about their struggles. I just feel like people who work in the aesthetic space are so far ahead of people in other industries because you know so much about your customers. And these are the sorts of things, if you don't already sort of hone in on these things with your clients, it's a good idea to start doing this, because this is how you get demographic data. And that's the easy part. That is the average age of the people that you see. This is, their average, number of family members. Maybe you have a rough idea of their household income, but then there's psychographic information as well, which is the really interesting stuff that makes them them, like hobbies or what their favorite TV show is. And when you know this information, you can hone in on them all the more tighter when you market. Have any of you done Facebook advertising? I always like to bring this up because I think it's a great, so it's perfect because when you're building your target audience, you can even pick their interests. That's psychographic information that you can't do. Like if you're placing a radio ad, you're not able to target that tightly. But if you have this information, your marketing is less expensive and it is so much more effective. So when you are talking with clients, try to get as much of this type of information out of them as possible. I mean, again, I don't know many people who are going to share their household income, but put together what you can. And so the first thing I want to talk about is a piece of homework, which is creating a client persona. And in marketing, we use buyer personas because they help us figure out who it is that we're really targeting. You could say, I am targeting women ages 35 to 65. They have an average household income of $200,000. They have children that are in high school. You can get all of that sort of information. But it doesn't really mean anything until you put it into a buyer persona. Let me give you an example. I used ChatGPT to just quickly throw together an example for you guys. And what I told ChatGPT is, create for me a buyer persona that has as much detail as possible about my target customer. My target customer is this age. They have roughly this household income. And then here are some lifestyle things about her. Like she has children, she's very busy, she works a professional job. And ChatGPT threw this back at me within like a minute. And it's a narrative. When you read this, you can look at it and go, okay, I totally get a feel for who this customer is, what's going on in their life, what her struggles are. What is she doing for her skin? What does she not have time for? And it seems like a silly task, perhaps, but doing this puts different goggles on for you. It allows you to look at your marketing in a really different way. Do you guys have any questions on that before I go on? Okay, perfect. So when you put together a buyer persona or consider who your target audience is, I then want you to think about, what does a client like this need or want from me? If you are working with a lot of young adults, you may be seeing more acne. You could build a business around that, as you all know. If you're working with middle-aged women, they might have more income. They may have other concerns like hyperpigmentation, fine lines and wrinkles. If they're clients in their 20s, they may be more concerned with prevention. And so really taking the time to go through this exercise and create an exhaustive list of what they may be needing and wanting, considering the budget that they have. It's a worthwhile exercise because it helps you to consider additional services you can offer and how you could also scale back. So you're really honing in on a sweet spot for your target audience. The next segment is about differentiating yourself. So back to that example of all those estheticians that might be in your market. Yeah, it's funny because I think that estheticians are incredibly creative, but I look at advertising in my local market and there's not a whole lot. Their logo might be really great. They might have really beautiful marketing, but I don't hear the story of them. I don't know why I would be a fit for them and vice versa. And so what I'd like to help you all do is craft your unique selling proposition. The unique selling proposition is really the foundation upon which your company, your business should be built. This is an exercise that should take you, weeks. You should be just keep working at it, keep plugging away at it. Have a notebook where you are just, anytime an idea hits you, you write it down and you're considering all the aspects of what you do. Am I a value-priced practitioner? Is that what sets me apart? That I can see a demographic that maybe is typically they can't afford but these services? Is it innovation? Have I just stayed ahead of the curve with all the new modalities that are available and tools? Do I just have amazing results? The quality is so exceptional in a certain area, which is where case studies come in and before and after photos. So you go through each of these areas. Maybe you have education, a license that someone else doesn't have, or you had a career before you were an esthetician, and you're able to use that to make your services all the better. Plug away at this And then once you have a really exhaustive list, it's putting it together in a way, a very simple way that would resonate with your target audience. And this is really where branding begins. When you do these two things, you really define your target audience and you really hone your unique selling proposition. That is when you begin branding. And that's always, you all have established businesses, and so you've been marketing. It's amazing when you can do this before you even start your business, but it's still really important now. The difference is that at this point, you sometimes are taking a step back. Like, as I'm looking at it from this lens, doing X doesn't make sense anymore, or I should be offering Y. So I'd just like to take a little bit of a pause because I'm going through this a little bit quickly, but I'd love to get any feedback from any of you. Have you done anything like this? Have you given this some thought? Do any of you have a unique selling proposition that you've built your company around or that you're marketing around, and feel that you really have this figured out? You have a unique way of selling your services. I don't know if I have to unmute anyone. I'm just looking.
I do have something to say.
Denise,
So when
tell us.
when I started my business, we made say hi. Hi.
Hi.
We made memberships, and they were really good because we're in a very blue collar town. So those that normally couldn't go to the spa, they were a way to kind of like dip their toes into things, see what was needed, if skincare was for them. And usually every like member that starts off with just like the small service either upgrades into something that they know is going to benefit them, or they kind of just use that over a long period of time in smaller priced services so that they can get to their goals. Like a lot of my acne clients have been with me 2 years on that membership, getting enzymes or something like that to kind of help with their acne. So that was something I think unique that kind of helped me in the beginning. It's kind of not working anymore, but that's what got me started.
I'm curious, have you found that you've gotten a lot of word of mouth out of that?
Oh yeah, because even I have like groups of coworkers. We have 50 members. So
Oh
there's
my
like groups of
goodness.
coworkers, groups of family members, there's like friends, and there's friends that like they're all on memberships and they all come together. So it's been great. And then there's like teens where one will get on the membership, that teen's acne starts to get better. So then their mom tells like another baseball mom, like, oh, go get on this club because it's cheaper and you can go every month and get it done, and it'll help slowly, but
Yes.
it's better than, most of the people in my area. I think the facials start at like 160 plus for like a teen acne treatment, whereas this one I have it like around $60. So it's a little 30-minute thing, but it's like
Yeah.
with good home care and that every month, that consistency just builds over time. And that's like my selling point is like if you have the patience, then you can save money this way.
What I think is really great about that is a lot of people will price them, like they'll essentially say that's not the audience for me because they can't afford services. But if you are catching people earlier in their careers, or they're young and they haven't started generating their real income yet, and you have given them a shot and taught them, the other thing you're doing is education, which is a
Mhm.
huge loyalty builder. That they then stay loyal to you. Word of mouth is great. And then when they do have more disposable income, those people tend to be really valuable clients.
That's exactly what happens because most of them, they keep the membership. But what they do is like, okay, so they have like this $60 membership, but now it's like if they want like micro channeling, or they want like a bio repill or something, I'm like, okay, credit what you paid, and then you still get your member discount on the difference. And then so they're still kind of saving, but it's like some of these members have been with me, I think going on 7 years now. And like they got me through COVID, they got me through everything. They
Yeah.
buy gift cards. If I have like usually if I have like merchandise, or I'm like, hey, I'm fundraising something, like last year I needed a fundraise to get to Atlanta, and they help. So it is. it's a really locked in relationship. So I'm really secure in my clientele.
I love it. I have some questions for you, but I'm going to save them for later when it becomes relevant about loyalty. So we'll come back to that. Thank you for
Okay.
sharing.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example. Anyone else want to share? Okay. So back to this idea of creating your USP, I just really encourage you guys to do it and take it really seriously because it can really be a game changer for your business. But there's this gut check that I want you to consider. And this is after you do your USP, after you write this statement, and your USP should really be no more than like 3 sentences, a short paragraph. After you do it, and then you consider the target audience that you created. Do they match? Because if you are saying, wow, my expertise is really in acne or preventative care, teaching young adults how to start caring for their skin so I can grow my business with them. But then you say that your target audience is women ages 35 plus who have a really high disposable income. It's not a match. And you may find that you have to make some decisions here, either the customer or me, the USP. And I am going to encourage you to always go with the USP because that's you authentically, the value that you bring. And again, remember, your clients aren't buying a facial. They're not buying an acne treatment. They are buying you because you make them feel a certain way and you make their skin feel a certain way. But that can't be lost. That lesson can't be lost, that you're selling yourself. Okay, so now we're going to talk about marketing tactics. I'm running through this all really fast, and if anyone has any questions after, please reach out to me. I love hearing about people's businesses. But I just want to leave you with a foundation today and some actionable things that you can put into place. And so after you've considered the target audience and after you've done your USP, I want you to think about how you market to them. Has anyone heard of the marketing funnel before? You can raise your hand if you have. Okay, perfect. I'm going to give you just a very basic overview of it in case anyone hasn't. When we consider our target audience and the process of selling, we look at it as a funnel. And at the top of the funnel, we have a lot of people going in. You should be targeting and your messages should be resonating with a lot of people, qualified people. These are people that match the demographics and psychographics that you've outlined in that first exercise. And once those people have entered your funnel, they're there because they're aware of you. The next step is that they are considering you. They then purchase your services. In some cases, it ends there. You get a first-time customer or a client and they never come back. That is not efficient marketing. We like to think of it as it keeps going. After they convert, we want them to become loyal to your business. But advocacy is the ultimate because these people believe in you and your brand so much that they are telling their friends and their family and their coworkers and writing reviews. They're essentially becoming your engine that you don't pay for, the marketing engine that does a lot of work for you and brings in business. So ideally, we want to take a lead from the very top all the way through the bottom, and then they just keep going. So let's talk about each level of this funnel. We start out with awareness, and you may call them leads. The important thing here is to just be targeting your target customer where they are. And in those conversations that you have with your clients, you may be hearing from them, oh, they're all telling you about, I saw this on Facebook. I saw that on Facebook. It's a clue. A lot of my clients are on Facebook. Wow, I would have assumed that they were on Instagram. They're not. They might be there. Or they might be really young and they might be telling you, oh, my friend and I were on Snap the other day. You got to listen for these clues. And then consider where you can market to them based on where they are. For example, if it is a clientele that takes great care of their skin, they're seeing a dermatologist in addition to you, partnering with a local dermatologist, getting your business cards in their office, setting up a cross referral program so that you can use one another to get business. Online search is maybe another way that they could hear from you. Make sure that your website is really SEO optimized. if you don't know how to do it, and there's plenty of books that teach you how to do it really easily, it's whenever you are writing on your website, you are ensuring that you have keyword-rich content. And we can do a whole other roundtable about that if anyone ever wants to go down that rabbit hole. Influencers. Now, granted, it's going to be hard to form partnerships with national influencers, but are there any in your community? Can you form a partnership with them? Give them free services so they'll do a post about you. Local media. Several of you have nonprofits. Reaching out to local media about your nonprofit, talking about your business in the segment that you get the local media to do. And then, of course, advertisements, targeting really tightly through digital advertising, or perhaps maybe you're in a small community and there's a newspaper and people really read it. You're the best judge of where those people really are. But putting information out to as many places as possible so that the awareness is broad. So how do you measure how well you're doing with the awareness piece? It's going to be based on web traffic to your website. It is based on watching your social follower counts and the engagement that you have. Considering how many referrals you get, people saying, oh, I heard about you from so-and-so. You know that source is really working. Any questions on this first level of the funnel? Okay. Next phase is considerations. So they know about you, they haven't bought yet. You need to give them something so they feel like they're going to start showing signs they're interested. And this is where you all know it. Client testimonials, before and after photos. I'm kind of preaching to the choir. You're all skin games people, so you know the value of a great case study. Education videos, filming content, putting it out on your socials, putting it out on YouTube. Going to a local aesthetic school, offering to be a guest speaker, getting your name out there so you have these credentials that you can put behind your name to show really how strong of a practitioner you are. Third-party credibility. This is when you get other people to speak for you. And often just doing a free service for someone who maybe has some influence can help you to get that third-party credibility. If you have relationships with nonprofits in your community, that's a great one. Again, you have your own nonprofits. That's another badge of credibility. We could go on and on and on, but these are the extra things that you offer, or the little badges that you can put behind your name or on your website that show you are someone who they should take very seriously. You can tell that someone is considering your business based on how much time they spend on your site, how much they are engaging with you on social inquiries. And for them to inquire, you have to be offering something that they have to inquire about. And this is where you could be offering a consultation, a paid consultation, or pre-consultations, but always better to lock them in, right? And measuring the response that you get to that. The next step then is conversion, and you all know how to measure that. This is real sales. But what we want to do is take away any objection that they may have to making that conversion. There are tools that you can use for your website. There's one called Hotjar. You can actually see recordings of people on your website. And you don't see the people, you just see their cursor, and it measures the amount of time they spent. It will show you where they stopped scrolling, and you can look at that and determine if you've got really boring content there, or if it's not explained well. Use tools like this to figure out where you may have roadblocks to the conversion happening. Now, we all talk about the importance of promotions in growing your business. I have asterisks next to this because I really encourage you guys not to go the Groupon route. Don't discount your services. While that puts you in front of a lot of people, it also gives them the perception that you maybe are a discount provider. And a lot of those people tend to come for that first service, they get their deal, and you don't see them again. And so promotions are best when they are value add promotions, like spend this much with me, get this free product, or book 2 services for 25% off. Something so they're locked in and they have to have skin in the game, but you're not heavily discounting your value. I mentioned paid consultations, and it's an idea that you'd have to test it. For some people, it works. For some, it doesn't. A paid consultation where you really add a lot of value. They can try you on, they come in, you're educating them about their skin, you're giving them so many aha moments where they walk out like, oh my God, that was the best 25 bucks I ever spent. And that $25 is then rolled into their first service with you, something to consider. Walk-in offers so that, you take away the scheduling roadblock. And of course, being able to book online. So anything you can do, just consider your business and how you can pave the way easily to a conversion. Loyalty is pretty self-explanatory. And my question for you, Janice, was you were talking about these clients and the referrals that you have. So have you found a way to incentivize those referrals? Or is this just all happening organically?
Most of it happens organically, but I think the biggest thing that helped me my first year was there's a clause in their membership that they're allowed to gift their facial for the month once per year to a new client. So a lot
Yeah.
of times what happened was their boss was had a birthday and they're like, "Hey, can I give my facial to my boss?" And I'd be like, "Okay, yeah." So they were a new client. So that boss came in and took their facial. And then that's where we have the opportunity too to be like, "Oh yeah, this is what it comes with. This is what you can do with your membership credits and things like that." And then usually we can either get them to come back for something or they just enjoy it and they're like, "Hey, can I buy a gift?" I've had where that gifted person buys a gift card for someone else. And
Yeah.
then there's that paper trail. So I think that was like the probably the smartest thing I did with the memberships is allowing them to gift it.
It's a great idea. And do you capture then their email so that you can, yep,
Yes. New client form
every
profile,
lead.
everything.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. And you're doing it in a way that doesn't seem transactional. It comes off very, I know you truly care as you're doing this. And so the goal is to better as many people's skin as possible, right?
Yeah, yeah, because I know where I come from. Like, even me as an esthetician starting out, it was so hard for me to get services by other people that I knew. So that's why I came and I brought this idea out, and it took off my first year. I think it took me 8 months to get off the ground and into a storefront.
Wow. That
Yeah.
is phenomenal. Yes, so exactly. More of that, just encouraging that word of mouth, that referral, letting other people use the membership. Brilliant. Again, because you
Yeah.
get more people in and you're still holding on to that revenue.
Yeah,
Um,
it's really nice. I like it because the first 2 days of the month pays my overhead. So
wow.
it's amazing.
How are you marketing the membership? Is it now all word of mouth or are you still trying to
No,
grow?
I market it in-house. I think that's probably something. So I'm pretty smart. I'm like over the years I've realized like I was really smart with this because
Yeah,
I mostly market it in-house and I try to get people like just cold organic leads. But then once we come in there and then that's where I kind of feel the vibe with the person too, because if they're like, it's just so hard for me to get some self-care in, or like money's usually tight, this and that, then I throw in the membership and I'm like, oh, we have this. And if this is something you really want to commit to, we have this to make it a lot more affordable because we know how that can be. And then that's usually where you get them because they're like, oh, that is way more affordable. So, and then it really does help now because I have like awards from the Skin Games. I have a
yeah,
lot more accolades to where they're even like, whoa, I can afford you. So
yes.
they sell very easily now. Once in a while, I'll do like a get your first month for $24. And I'll be like, I'm taking 3 members this month for $24 for your first month. And they'll go
Do you lock them into a term?
3 months and then they can
Okay,
pause. They can pause as long as they let me know before the first of the month. And then if they cancel, if there's any changes to the terms, they don't get grandfathered in, they have to come in as a new client again.
good. When you were talking about, being able to share the membership with other people, that really points to this idea of delighting customers at every visit. And anything that you can do to just do those small surprises that don't really cost you anything, like that didn't cost, that actually helps your business. But to them, they're like, oh, that was so nice, right?
Yeah.
Offering them, pricing in a deluxe sample into a service. You get to send them home and say, take this home. And they're like, oh, wow, they don't know they paid for it. I mean, it just seems like a really nice gift. Doing arm massages as part of their service, taking note of the things they tell you and adding it to their chart. Like this client's birthday, maybe you're asking for it anyway. This client's birthday is October 10th, and they love, I don't know, Ghirardelli chocolate. And actually saying to them, hey, it's, I know it was just your birthday. Here's a little gift from me. Those little things that we all know as consumers, you walk away and you're like, oh my God, that it was so sweet. And you tell everybody. The amount of money that you will spend on these little delighting factors goes such a long, long way. But then also loyalty programs, because if people are going to keep coming back to you, they love the idea of it benefiting them. After 10 visits, maybe something happens, or they're earning points for every visit. Those programs do really well. And then finally, advocacy. And as I said, it's the highest honor, and anything that we can do to encourage clients who have had a good experience to speak on our behalf. There's nothing inappropriate about saying, if you had a great service, we would love to have you do a Google review. Maybe it's even printed on the back of your business card. Saying to them, yes, and if you ever refer someone, let me know. I'm giving you $25 for every client that comes to me who says that you referred them. If they post something on social media and tag you, you could even be doing like, we do a drawing every month for clients who tag us on social media, and we give away a $100 service. Things like this to encourage it. You just don't want to be obnoxious about this, because it takes away their willingness to do it if it feels like you're doing a hard press on it. So that in a nutshell is what I wanted to share with you guys today, but I wanted to leave you with some inspiration. And these are quotes from some marketing books that would be beneficial to you if you wanted to read more about how to just really dig into your marketing. Seth Godin is like the grandfather of modern marketing. He has really great books. And I love this quote about the goal isn't to sell people on your product, it's to help them fall in love with your story. As you're developing your USP, what is your story? Some of you, again, the nonprofit thing, 2 of you have, it's so just inspiring. How does that play into who you are and the services you offer? How's that story told naturally in your business? This next one, you don't need to change the entire world to build a successful business. You just need to change someone's world. Treating every client as if they're the whole world for that period of time that they're there with you, because that word of mouth is that beneficial. In fact, the amount of money it takes to market to a return customer versus a brand new customer, it's like a sliver of the amount of money. This is just good business because it saves you in the long run. And then this book is a good one, 1 Million Followers, How I Built a Massive Social Following in 30 Days. Sorry, I have 3 screens and I can't read the whole thing, but this quote is about him having the right mindset before he started to grow his following. And again, it all points back to that idea of what is the core that you're building your business on. I'm going to open it up to questions and discussions, anything that you guys would like to talk about, whether it is personal business questions, marketing questions, or stories that you want to tell. But I am leaving my email address here, because if at any point you just want to bounce ideas off of me, I love to do this with people. So please don't hesitate to do that.
Well, thank you so much. This has been really amazing. So something I wanted to do at the Skin Games, one of my favorite things was looking through Instagram. at the event and seeing all these people post like day one at the skin games and, you know, what their big takeaways were. And so for the next year, I wanted to do, have like a pop-up banner that's at the end of each day, I'd give $100 like bar credit or food credit or restaurant credit for the best Instagram video. And I just feel like
Oh,
those
I love
videos are
that.
way more valuable than like, you know, me standing in front of a camera telling everybody why the skin games is so great. You know, it's a genuine, authentic
Yes.
thing. So that last point that you made kind of made me want to move forward with that idea.
User-generated content is so powerful. That's why if you go on Instagram or TikTok, you are just seeing brands having so many videos done about them, because having your story told by other people is just so much more powerful than telling it yourself. Well, if no one else has any other questions, I just want to thank you guys for being here today and allowing me to talk about, marketing with all of you. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you all in March. Time's ticking.
Yes, definitely.
I
I think
have
the
one
record button.
question.
Oh, who's that?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
please.
I have a question. So, as far as like content and everything like that, like how service heavy should it be versus like I think kind of like is showing your story and being a little bit more interactive with the audience? Because I feel like that's where I struggle the most, like wanting to show all my before and afters to the point where I forget to be like, oh, they haven't seen me on camera for a
Yeah.
while.
You need both, and here's why. You need the educational content because that is going to get the clicks to your website. It's search engine optimization. What you could do is there's tools like Ahrefs, ahrefs.com, I think, or Moz, moz.com. You can go to go into these tools, and I think they all have a free version. And if you want to write an article about acne, teen acne, and you want it to be about the most important skincare routine for those with acne, you put in the keywords that you think are important, like acne skincare, acne regimen, and it's going to tell you how many people are searching for those words and then how competitive it is. And the key there is to find something that doesn't have a lot of competition for it, but it's still totally relevant to what you want to talk about. If you write good content that has those keywords embedded, you will start seeing your web traffic go up because you've got people coming from Google and Bing that they're coming to you just because they want to learn. Now, those people are likely going to be from all over the country. They're not necessarily going to be your client, but they're going to help your website rise up in the rankings, and that's why you need it. But then the people that really do want to come to you, they need to know about you. And it's always, why is it that this is the hardest thing for us, is to like, get the horn and tell all the great things about ourselves. This is the hardest, but you have to do it. And if it is uncomfortable, having other people do it for you, that user-generated content is really important. Ask your 3 best clients, would you be willing to do a video for me? It doesn't need to be fancy. I'll edit it. You just make it as easy for them as possible. But just telling about what your journey has been like working with me. And you just pull something out of that. You pull together a short video, or just write your bio and you're incorporating quotes from your clients in it, about their experience with you. So yeah, both are equally as important.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. There's a girl, she owns Dauntless. She was a competitor in the skin games. And I didn't realize like how it worked, but she made this reel while everybody was watching that Dahmer
The documentary?
it wasn't a doc, it was like a spin-off. It was like
Oh, okay.
it wasn't an actual documentary, but everybody was like just obsessed with that show at the time. And so she did this reel with that voice. It was, I forgot exactly what it was, but it ended up going viral and she got monetized for it. And like that's probably her picking up like,
Wow.
they're talking about like what are you watching on Netflix and that sort of thing. So I mean that's
Yes,
another spin-off on what you were talking about as well.
absolutely. Yeah, if you could, that's the cool thing about TikTok. There's so many trending sounds. have fun with it, do that. Now I say that have fun with it and do these things. It's like the most awkward thing for me to make social content. But you sort of have to just put yourself out there and do it to represent your business, because again, they're buying you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's incredible how it's so hard for everybody to do that. Like, I feel that's probably why I didn't talk during this recording, because I was nervous about being seen. And, you know, and I know I'm not the only one. And I was looking back at one of the classes at the Skin Games. It was about, I think it was about like social media or something like that. And you know, he was saying like the key is to just show up as you, show up as yourself flawed, just show up. And that's like the essence of connection, and still
Yeah.
how hard it is to do. And I remember this girl, she came up and she just didn't want to do it. And then she was almost in tears, and everybody
Oh.
was so grateful to see her just end up making that video for social media. But it's hard to communicate, but I just
No,
what
I
you're
am
saying, it's
absolutely
just
with
like all the
you.
dots are connecting for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think also for some of us, it's just not native. I mean, this wasn't around when we were in high school, and it's like, oh my God. I mean, I purposely try to be anonymous online, and then you want me to go out there and, you know, but it's the way business is done today, right? All
Well, thank you
right. Well,
so
great
much
meeting with
for
all of
this.
you.
This
My
is
pleasure.
wonderful.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah,
Any
thank you. I got a lot of help today.
Good.
awesome. Tanya says thank you. All right. Well, everybody have a beautiful night. Thank you for joining us. And I'll get this uploaded on YouTube as soon as as soon as it downloads.
Great. Thank you all. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.